What are we doing today, Kathleen?
Alright, so we're on location at church, and what we're going to be doing...
Eastford Congregational Church?
Yeah, Eastford Congregational Church, and we're going to be doing what we call First Sunday, and we cook a bulk meal, like 50 meals, and it's chicken, potatoes, and corn, or another veggie like green beans. We used to do salad, but that was before quarantine began, so now we've fixed the salad, and it's just the three components. But we do this once a month, and it's fed to the
homeless or other individuals in the town of Willimantic that need assistance. Willimantic, Connecticut. This is what Kathleen was talking about. We individually package them up so that when at the First Baptist Church in Willimantic, they distribute these to those that are in need. And here at the Eastford Congregational Church, because of quarantine, we make the food here and it's delivered elsewhere. That way everyone's safe. Yes. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna turn 40 pounds of chicken into, I think, like 40 to 50 meals approximately. So we got right here, we got 40 pounds of chicken that we picked up. And then I'll just move this so Kathleen can point out the other ingredients.
Yep, and we've got all of our seasonings that are back here. We got the chicken seasoning that's going to be used in the flour, and we've got our basics, the Italian seasoning, garlic powder, the onion powder, and the veggies. We've got these massive things of corn, and we're just going to open these up, heat them up on the stove, and then we're good to go with that. And our favorite thing to do is the gravy. So the extra fat that's from the chicken, cut that off, and then we're going to turn it into a roux. We're going to boil down the chicken, get all that nice fat to come out, and then we're going to take out the actual fat, and it'll leave the juice kind of behind. It looks like a juice, and then we'll add in some flour and make that into like a saucy kind of lug. And then we add in some seasoning to it, and that's literally all it is for your gravy. It's just water and flour and fat. So it's something that we just kind of picked up, and everybody loved it. Before quarantine, we were like, you know what? We're going to use everything that we can. We're waste not, want not, and yeah, it might as well use everything that we can.
And this is something that we're really passionate about helping
our community.
Yeah, our community, those that are in need. Like, I just, it's just something I want to give back, because I really, I was very fortunate, and I want to share what I can with my community.
Now, how long have you been doing this, sir?
Probably 10 years. I've been doing this for a very, very long time. So when Kathleen and I were dating years ago, 4 years ago now.
This is a microphone.
I invited her along to First Sunday, and it's been this way ever since. It's been awesome.
Yeah, I enjoy doing it because I miss working in a kitchen, and it's just been a huge joy, and we get to spend time together. We do it once a month, and we get to see some of our friends from the church. We used to, and now they just stop by and they drop off their components, like the mashed potatoes. Those will come later. So it's just fun, and to be able to give back to those that don't have, it's good to be able to share that. So yeah, let's get started, and we'll see you in the next segment on the other side of the room. Okay. Alright, so what we're going to do is start doing up the chicken. We've got our flour here. And there aren't really any measurements for this. It's just going to be kind of dumping it in and seeing what's going to work out for us. But I generally use, what do you say, that's about 2 or 3 cups of flour?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. And then we do have more in reserve if we need it. And I'm gonna just go like that. That's a little better. Oh, I guess I need to shrink. So we've got our black pepper. And don't be shy with the seasoning because you want it to come through so you can actually taste it in the chicken afterwards. And this is going to be chicken seasoning, and it's a brand new one, which is good for us because we need it. So it's going to be a blend of paprika and, let's see, garlic, and that's about it. So salt, but it's really that paprika that you want to bring warmth to your chicken. You can smell that just by opening it. Opens up a lot of senses. And this is just basil. And even though this chicken seasoning does have garlic in it, we still add garlic to that chicken mixture if you really love garlic. You've seen that, but garlic works beautifully with chicken, and it's definitely a crowd pleaser. So we've got our onion powder, and I do a little bit of salt because you do need it, just like that-ish. And if you want a measurement, that's probably going to be a teaspoon. And Italian seasoning, just a blend of basil, oregano, thyme, marjoram, basil, sage, and looks like that's it. And let's get this stuff out of the way. And we're not real fancy here, we're just going to use our hands and incorporate all of the seasoning with the flour. Make sure everybody's come to the party. And we're just going to start dressing them in the flour. Evan's been cutting up back here the chicken, and he's just breaking them, the drumsticks off of the legs or thighs, and they come out. Oh wow, these are kind of small.
Yeah, they're a little on the smaller side this time.
Wow, alright, so we'll probably do 2 pieces of chicken then when they get packaged up. We usually do 1 depending on the size, but you'll see that. So what I do is I dredge the whole thing, and it's literally just this one coating, and then I tap it off, get as much off as I can. And that's why I said don't be afraid to season things, because you want it to get onto your chicken. So again, I'm just going to coat it, tap that off, and make sure that it's all done. It's all there. Now, you can see in the pan, I'm kind of leaving some space, but eventually when I get all of the pan filled in, I am going to be squishing everything together. Enough room for it to cook, but we want to pack it in so that we get a lot on there. Now for packing drumsticks together in a pan like this, you kind of want to do it as though they're like shoes in a box. So you put one big end here and then one other big end on the opposite side. So that way they all fit snug together. Now if you've got some thighs that are going to be kind of packing around the drumstick, that's fine too. And that way you can just maximize the amount of chicken that you've got in your pan. Alright, so we've got this one tray done. We're just gonna set this to the side, foil it up, and then we'll move on to the next one. Alright.
Alright, hey everyone. As part of this, we wanted to show you how to properly cut up. These are only chicken thighs. We're going to show you how to cut up a chicken thigh. I've been moving through it kind of quick because I have a good knife. It's always good to make sure you have a good sharp knife. But first thing you want to do is you want to take the chicken. You want to like dislocate it. I've already done that here. And then I kind of use like my thumb to find where the joint is. And then I just take the knife and see, and then you have that piece off. And then I don't like to waste any part of the chicken. So this fat we're going to use to turn into gravy. We're going to make what's called a roux, and I'll show you that later. So we're going to just cut the fat off, and we're going to just toss it in that pan for now. And then what I'm doing is, because we cut it smaller, the thigh is on this side, and this was the tail of the animal. So we're going to like cut it in half, and so just, and then I use my weight and just like cut through the spine.
So there really isn't another way to kind of explain that? Or you're just kind of guessing what is half and what and where to put the knife?
Yep.
All right.
Looks like another one.
So that's the joint and the drumstick.
Just kind of want to keep your fingers out of the way because this knife is really sharp. I prefer not to get cut. And then if any of you guys are curious, these are the kidneys here. So there we go.
So you just find the middle, and then
I usually keep my thumb on the end of the thigh here to kind of help me, or the end of the thigh bone of the animal. That like just what I use to help me. There.
and the process just keeps on going.
Yes, it does.
Choo choo.
This one's kind of small, so I think I'm just gonna like put the bone there. Just like some of the fat here. Because like normally people just throw this out, but there's no reason to waste it because you can turn that into gravy.
Oh yeah. And we'll definitely show you how to make that gravy.
Mm-hmm. We will.
All right. So we'll get back to it and come back when we got a smaller pile of chicken there. I'm slacking.
Alright, so we finished cutting up the chicken, and this is what 40 pounds of chicken fills about 5 trays. Just, I guess to show you a random one so you can see how they're all packed in here, right? And they're all packed in here. I know someone's probably going to put in the comments, so you guys didn't rinse the chicken. Well, it's actually not advised by the Board of Health to rinse your chicken. Because remember, we're serving the public, so we have to follow local guidelines. And local guidelines is do not rinse your chicken. You can spread pathogens. So anyways, that out of the way. We are actually using a convection oven. Most people probably don't have access to a convection oven, but the church was nice enough to allow us to use their convection oven to cook the chicken. It actually cuts the amount of time we need to cook, like, probably in half. Like, these will probably be done in 40 minutes or so. But over here, I have a traditional gas oven that you usually see in, like, big kitchens. I got it on 250 because what I'm going to do is after I cook it, it doesn't get served right away, so I'm going to keep it in here to keep it warm so it's at serving temp. Because when you serve the public, you have to keep food at the serving temp. And chicken, I believe it is 165?
165 is the internal temp for ready.
Alright, cool. So anyways, I'm going to put it in the convection oven. And it's very hot. I have it set to 500 degrees because I'm super patient.
Well, we also want it at 500 because when we're getting close to done, we want to take the foil off and get a nice crisp skin on it.
And the other thing I've noticed with, at least, I'm not sure if this is true with all convection ovens because this is the only one I've ever used, but your items at the top of the convection oven always cook the fastest. So usually when I'll check these in about like 20 minutes, I'll probably like rotate them a bit. Alright, they're in.
Alright.
That's it, we got the chicken in. Oh, and another thing I wanted to show everyone is, so here is the chicken fat that I have cut off all the chickens. Now, I'm going to use this in gravy. And so Normally when you make a roux, right, you take like some type of fat and you put it in a pan and you bring it to a boil and you add flour. It's recommended you add flour. Cornstarch will clump, absolute mess to deal with. Flour is definitely preferred. So in this case, we're actually going to get the fat by boiling down the chicken, right? To get the chicken broth, right? Or chicken juices out, right? Now, what you want to keep in mind is that is a marathon, right? You need to be patient. So I have this. I am going to kind of just like spread it around a bit, and then I'm just going to put water in it so that they're just barely covered with water. So I don't know if you can see that, but they're just barely covered with water. That's really all you need. And then you just set it on the oven. I usually just set it and put back to it. And I try to set it on like, want to put on like a lower heat, but not too low because then the gas oven will turn off and it's annoying. That's probably good. And then that's it.
All right, and how long do you usually leave that going for?
40 to 50 minutes.
All right.
So do you want to check the chicken first and then?
So part of like cooking, you know, there's a lot of waiting. So while we're waiting, you know, we have like snacks.
I like mixed berry yogurt. Yeah, Evan's on to me. That's a good quote. He said mixed berry. He's on to me.
So the reason I brought you back, guys, is it's time to check the chicken. It's been about 20 minutes, so I'm gonna take one out and just like take a peek at it and see where we're at, and then probably should get going with the corn too. You know, yeah, I've been doing this so long, I kind of just have it like timed in my head. So, but anyways, all right. This oven's very hot, so just be careful. I check the top. I usually check the top and the bottom ones to get kind of like an idea. Oh, now I'm gonna find the thermostat. That's always I forgot about that. That's always fun.
Eventually we do find the meat thermometer, but we didn't film that piece. And at this point, the chicken's internal temperature was about 140 degrees Fahrenheit to 60 degrees Celsius. So we stuck it back in the oven for about another 20 minutes.
So, let's see how it's been another 20 minutes.
And do we know where the thermometer is?
Yes, I actually found a second one when I was looking for the can opener. But we're going to use this one because we already dirtied it. Oh, look at these. Oh, they're already starting to brown up too. Oh, wow. These are definitely pretty close to done. Now, another thing to know is that the chicken will keep cooking. So it looks like we're at a little over 150. So I think it's time to take the oil off. And we're going to take this one out here.
And you said that it cools off quickly.
Oh, these might be done. All right, halfway between 150 and 200. That's, what's that, 175. So those are definitely done.
Mm-hmm.
So those we are going to leave out.
That's got some nice skin on it too.
getting there. 150, it's fogged over. Oh, 160. Oh. Alright, so these are approaching done very quickly. So I'm going to put them in here to brown up a bit. And then we're going to quick make the gravy.
Quick like a bunny.
Yep.
Alright, so speaking of gravy, here we've got our chicken fat that's cooking off. And you can see that the water's turned like kind of yellow, light green tingy. And that's the chicken fat cooking off into the water. And then we're going to strain off the fatty pieces that are left over that are floating around. And then we'll use the water juice liquid for the base of our gravy. Alright, and it looks like that was the one that we saw that was close to being done. And we're just going to leave it in that oven to keep it warm. And that's all just going to go in there. And then this bit of chicken fat we're just going to discard after it's been drained for a moment. So how much chicken juice fat business do you think we have here? Evan, how much chicken juice fat do you think we have here?
Maybe 3/4 of the cup.
Okay. Right.
So now I'm going to put it here, and we're going to bring it up to boiling. And this part we need to move really fast. So basically, we're going to be adding condensed mushroom soup and chicken broth to it. I like to make sure I have these ready because it goes very fast. So I'm going to bring that up to boil. Where's the flour?
Oh, back over there.
And so I'm going to use this to whisk up the flour. You can use cornstarch, but it's a lot harder to get unclumped flour. It doesn't clump as badly. And you can see it's already at a boil. I'm going to move really fast. You gotta move fast because otherwise you're gonna burn it. And trust me, burn gravy, not fun. If you do accidentally burn it and you want to get the burn taste out, add a little sugar. I mean, it'll taste sugary, but
It tastes sweet, but then the sweet will counteract with the acidity of the burn.
and just a pro tip, whenever you're dumping something like this out, to avoid splashing, get it as close down to the level as you can. And see? And now you just let it sit there and bring it to boil. That's it. Found it.
Alright, so we're going to open up some cans of corn. And we got our big old pot here. So, can opener just goes like that. And snap on. But one thing that I do recommend, if you got a huge can like this, first pour out the liquid first. Otherwise you're going to make a huge mess. Because you got the liquid and the contents, the actual food coming out of there. And if you're not all that lucky to get it to open, like me,
afternoon is definitely recommended so you can stir it.
Then we'll take it off, drain it, mix it with some butter, keep it all in the same pot because we're just going to use that to partition it off into the meals, and then we'll be good to go.
Alright, so the next stage here, we are going to be condensing our cooked chicken.
Alright, so we're going to have some tongs. Always have tongs in your kitchen. It's like my #1 favorite thing to have. I use them for anything and everything. So we're just going to transplant the chicken from one container into a clean one. And the reason for that being is we're going to take off the last of the chicken fat that's cooked off in here and put that into our gravy as well, because that's got the baked on bits. And you want as much flavor as possible. Maximizing your flavor. And when you're dumping it into the secondary container for this, it doesn't have to look pretty unless you're gonna, if that's your end game. If you want it to look nice, then go right for it. But us, we're just gonna be sectioning it off into those meals, and we'll be good to go. We're just dumping it off in there. And on to the rest.
So we just finished putting all the chicken in these. The reason we do this is we're not ready yet to serve. Potatoes haven't arrived yet. So we just need to keep it at serving temp. So I have this oven set for like 250, 200. It's not here to cook the chicken. It's really just to keep it at temp. And we're going to finish the gravy off. If you want to get a shot of this, you can see after adding all the stuff, see how it's not white, it's kind of like yellowish. That's really what I'm after. It's like kind of, I don't know, it's chicken gravy. But if you try this right now, it'd be kind of bland. And so I always add spices. I never measure anything, just so you guys know. Kathleen is very careful with her measurements, but because when you're cooking for a lot of people, you know, you're usually rushing around. And so I usually just do everything. So like, I'm not going to add any salt, but I add plenty of pepper. Here's some chicken seasoning that I'm going to add. That's a good amount of salt in it, by the way.
Yeah, and so does that condensed soup.
Yeah, that's plenty. And then I love to add garlic powder. Now, something I've done in the past, guys, is I've actually, like, say if you're like trying to add some taste, flavor to your gravy, I've actually, it might sound disgusting, but I've actually added soy sauce, and it is banging. It's really good.
The other sauce that you could add in is Worcestershire, and that's because the anchovies, believe it or not, there are anchovies in Worcestershire, and it brings that umami flavor. It's just that something extra, that panache that steps up whatever you're adding it into.
You may not want to add that to chicken gravy though. If you're making like a beef gravy, definitely add that. And you see how it's thickened up nice? That is from the flour and also the mushroom soup. Because it was a condensed, that adds some thickening to it. And see, I've cooked it down. That looks really tasty. Oops, sorry. And now that is done. Usually what I like to do is I usually like to shut it off. this gas up, I'll just like ease it back on. One thing you guys want to know is that heat is motion, and so when you heat something up, you know, it's basically has that momentum. So we kind of just want to like keep it right there so it's nice and stays warm. You can like take like saran wrap and push the saran wrap against the surface of the gravy. That'll prevent a skin from forming, but I don't really have that option here. Well, I think I do, but I don't want to waste the saran wrap. But anyway, now we need to move on to the corn. I was hearing it rattling. Pro tip, spoon, take these off and you can cut them up there. And
Or down below.
That is really done. It instantly burned my hand as soon as I stuck it in there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that is done. It smells done too.
Yeah.
Check that out, huh? So we're gonna drain that and have a nice diesel drain right in here. Okay, cool stop. Don't make the mistake I ain't do, and always make sure you pop over very, very hot. What I like to do is I like to take the butter and kind of just throw it in the fat while it's still hot. That way it can already start melting. And I just pour it in. Alright, and then we're going to take the other 2 sticks here. I think it's actually margarine and not butter. I
Well,
think, but
it's what's provided by the
it's good.
church, and that's
Oh, it's vegetable spread, so it's a little bit nicer to you.
And there we are. And then we'll just stir that in and put the lid on top, and then we'll call it a day for those till we need to sort out the meals. All right, that's done for now.
Alright, yep, I'm just
Alright, so we're gonna plate up our chicken. And we've got our lovely little to-go containers. We've got our tongs. And like I said when I was breading these, they're kind of on the smaller side. See that? So I think I'm gonna put 2 pieces together. And that makes a good amount. And we've got our corn. Goes right in there. And all the way down yonder, we've got our mashed potatoes. And if you're feeding a crowd and you need that, you got mashed potatoes, an ice cream scoop is a huge helper.
I'll eat the gravy and
then he's the gravy master. So we're just going to keep doing this until we're done. And we've got an odd way of stacking everything, but you know, whatever works for us for transporting. And there we go.
The rest of the, oh, we're filming? Okay, so we should get the rest of the chicken because we've emptied out like quite a bit of this one.
Yep, and see we're, oh,
Oh, now you typed it.
there we go. And now
Alright.
you can see we've already packaged it up.
Yeah, and that's our interesting little setup, how it's carried out there. And we're just gonna grab the rest of our chicken and then dump this one into that. Turn the oven off.
Yes, it is off.
Okay. And away we go.
Tried to get subscriber number 19, but I can't find you.
Oh, it's called Sweetly Savory, 2 words. Both
I look under
capitals.
cooking videos, I look under camping. I gotta look under what?
Sweetly Savory.
Sweetly. Must be,
It's not a picture of me, it's
you
a
say
pic-
it's one word or 2?
2 words. It's a picture of my stove.
777?
No.
That's Sweetly Safe. Oh, it's Sweetly Savage. Alright. Did you do buffalo chickpea sandwich?
Yes,
Eastford
it is.
Congregational Church, 7.
I don't subscribe to anything, don't subscribe to this.
Okay.
You got it. You're welcome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
So how do I do it?
I should just be able to click subscribe at the top of the page. Let's see. There you go.
Done?
Yep. Thanks. Alright, so we're just finishing up here, and we've got corn and mashed potatoes left over. We used up all the chicken this time. So what we're going to do is just pour the corn and mashed potatoes into another spare container, and we'll send that off to the church, and that way they have everything. Waste not, want not. So while Evan's doing that, I'll hang on to this for him. And thanks so much for watching. This
glad to have shared it with you guys. And so like, subscribe, eat, enjoy, and you know, you gotta ring the bell for notifications. So we'll see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye.